In this tutorial, we're going to create a complete client website management dashboard where you'll be able to backup, security check, speed optimize, SEO optimize, upload articles to all kinds of things on an unlimited number of websites using a free plugin called MainWP. It's the same plugin that I use for my own client management dashboard. There's a lot of free add-ons for it. There's also paid add-ons. We're going to get into all of that in this tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below this video. I try to answer every single one. My name is Bjorn Allpass from WP Learning Lab, where we help you get better at WordPress so you can earn more for yourself, for your clients, and for your business. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure to click subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. And we're getting started on this video right now. Before we get into the meat and the potatoes and the how-to of this video, I want to show you all the things that MainWP can do, which will help you get excited about it. I know it gets me excited reading through all these things and just learning about the possibilities. And if you can even think of 3 businesses that can benefit from any one of these things, that's 3 potential clients right there. And I'm sure you can think of 3 as I read through these. It's not that difficult to imagine businesses benefiting from a service that you provide using these MainWP options. So we're on the MainWP website right now. Under MainWP extensions, that's where we have all of our extensions. So the extensions for MainWP fall under these categories: administrative, backup, content, performance, security, visitor data, and third party. And there are a whole lot of free options. You can do a lot of great customer management with just the free extensions, and the paid ones obviously offer more capabilities. And the MainWP plugin, the main dashboard, is free. I'll show you where to get that in just a few minutes. And that free MainWP dashboard with the free add-ons, you can start your business for free. It's the cost of your hosting and your domain name, and you can have a client management system up and running for very few dollars. So let's get into these things. The first one, the Advanced Uptime Monitor. This checks websites to see if they're online. Also checks websites for 4 pages, and then gives you reports in your dashboard so you can take whatever steps are necessary. A lot of these extensions tie into, I'm just going to skip ahead here, into the Client Reports extension. This one is a paid one, but it sends out automated reports, white labeled, to your business at a specific interval that you set. So anything that you do in the dashboard, anything we list through these extensions, will be in the client report sent to each of your clients automatically, totally on autopilot. It's awesome. So we have the article uploader. This allows you to upload articles to a website. And you got to think of MainWP managing, let's say, 100 websites. The article uploader, you can upload articles to 100 websites from inside the dashboard. You can upload them as CSV files if you want to. The uptime monitoring, think of that as monitoring 100 websites at the same time. It's a great time saver. There's multiple backup options. There's backup WordPress, which allows you to back up sites. Think 100 again, 100 sites being automatically backed up every month or every whatever schedule you choose. There's BackWP Up, another backup option. Boilerplate allows you to install a brand new website, blank boilerplate based on your settings that you set. Branding allows you to change the name of the MainWP child plugin. This will make more sense later in this video, but the MainWP child plugin is installed on all sites that you manage, and it's called MainWP child plugin. With the branding extension, you can change the name of it to, say, your business extension or your business plugin, whatever your business name is, can be the name of the plugin. So your clients think that you built this whole system. Broken links checker checks however many sites you have in your dashboard for broken links, reports those back to you. Bulk settings manager. If you want to change settings on many websites at once, on as many as you want, 100, 1,000, 10,000 websites, doesn't matter. As many websites as you have in your dashboard or just a selection of those websites, you can bulk change settings in all of them using the bulk settings manager. Clean and lock. This is for the MainWP website itself, which should be its own private install that nobody knows about. We'll get into that later in this video, but this basically hides the website so nobody can find where your main dashboard is. Client reports, we covered that one. Code snippets allows you to add code to your child websites right from your MainWP dashboard. You don't need to mess with the functions.php file for every child site. Do it right from your dashboard. This, of course, is for advanced users because you have to know PHP. Otherwise, you wouldn't be inserting code snippets of PHP into websites. So this is for advanced users. Comments add-on allows you to manage comments from all the websites all in one central location. The custom dashboard extension allows you to customize your MainWP dashboard, which is the one where you work in, where you see all your client sites and what their needs are. And you can customize that to your needs using this extension. The custom post types extension allows you to manage pretty much any custom post type available in WordPress right in your main WP dashboard, including WooCommerce products. The favorites extension allows you to favorite themes and plugins in the WordPress repository in your main WP dashboard, so that when you add a new client in and you want to add your favorite set of plugins to their site, say there's an SEO plugin, a security plugin, an optimization plugin, you want to add all those automatically or have quick access to all of those, that's where the favorites comes in. You can favorite any plugins that you need and have those uploaded within a few clicks to whatever new websites you add to your dashboard. The file uploader allows you to upload files to your child sites. The Google Analytics add-on allows you to view Google Analytics data right in your main WP dashboard for each of the child sites that you manage. So you can have a centralized view of all the traffic to your client sites, which is a huge time saver because you don't have to log into each one of your client's analytics accounts. You have it all in one central spot. iThemes Security is a very popular security plugin for WordPress, and it has a lot of settings, a lot. The cool things about this iThemes Security add-on is you can set those settings once for one website, save it as a template, and you can automatically push all those settings out to all the other child sites. Doesn't matter how many. It could be 1,000, 10,000. Doesn't matter. One click, all the other sites have the same security settings. Obviously, you want to check those sites to make sure it worked and make sure nothing broke. But the actual setting of the settings, it can be done automatically using main WP, which is a huge time saver. Maintenance allows you to do routine maintenance on WordPress sites, child sites that you're managing. For example, deleting spam comments, trashing spam comments, deleting old post revisions, things like that. Just regular maintenance. The main WP Buddy extension connects with the Backup Buddy plugin, which is a very popular backup plugin. It's not the one I use. The one that I use is lower down this list. It's called Updraft Plus, and we actually set that up in this tutorial, and I'll show you how to make scheduled backups using Updraft Plus later in this tutorial as well. PageSpeed allows you to monitor the page speeds of all the websites in your dashboard. Pickwick, now called Matoma, I believe, is an analytics system that's not Google Analytics. So they're not sharing data. It's not stored on other servers. You're the only person who can view this data, and it's much more GDPR compliant than Google Analytics is. Post Dripper allows you to set up posts that are dripped out to any number of websites. Post Plus is an extension that will allow you to randomize authors, post dates, categories, meta box descriptions for your posts. So you can have a site where there's only one author, but you can mix and match those things and make it look like there's lots of authors. It's not something I personally would use, but you might have a use for that, or a client might have a use for that, and you can do it with this add-on. The Rocket extension connects with WP Rocket, which is my favorite speed optimization plugin for WordPress. I have linked to the tutorial up above and in the description down below for a full walkthrough of WP Rocket and how you can speed up sites with it. It's super awesome. But this allows you to connect WP Rocket to all of your child sites. And you can have all your favorite settings pushed out to all your sites at once whenever needed. Or whenever a new site comes on, a few clicks, it's set up with all your favorite settings. It's super simple. The spinner allows you to spin articles. This is something that was quite popular a while ago. I don't know how well it works anymore, but basically you create a document that is very difficult to read, but for each sentence and each word and each phrase and each paragraph, you can set up variations. And the spinner then mixes and matches combinations or mixes and matches versions. And so theoretically, you can have an unlimited amount of unique articles from one article, theoretically. And so the spinner allows you to do that. Then you can upload those articles to all your sites, and they're all unique. Staging allows you to create a staging site for any one of your child sites. So if you're working on some kind of major overhaul, you can use this staging extension. Sucuri security scans your website to make sure it's not infected with malware, to make sure it's not on blacklists, things of that nature. I'll show you this in this tutorial as well later on. Team Control allows you to set up accounts for your team in main WP. So you can just manage them and they do all the work. It provides them with checklists of things to do. It makes sure the permissions are limited to only what they need to see, things like that. Really great Team Control. Time Capsules on the backup plugin. Updraft Plus is the backup plugin that I personally use and that we set up in this tutorial in just a few minutes. It's really simple to use, does schedule backups. It's a great little plugin. The URL extractor allows you to pull URLs from any or all of your child sites. For example, you could have, with a few clicks of the button, a document that contains all the URLs for all pages and posts on your child sites or on a specific child site. I don't know why you need that, but if you do, this is a great extension to have. The WooCommerce Shortcuts extension adds links, quick links to WooCommerce pages inside your main WP. So if you wanted to, for example, go to the coupons page in a child site, or the settings page, the WooCommerce settings, or the reports for WooCommerce, one click on a link in your main WP will take you there using this extension. The WooCommerce status extension allows you to see all your WooCommerce data, all the important data in one central location. So if you're managing a bunch of e-commerce stores using WooCommerce and main WP, you can see things like top selling product for the month, gross sales for the month, orders that are pending, orders on hold, orders that need your attention, all that you can see in the main WP dashboard, and then you can focus your time where it needs to be, solving all those problems that may come up. WordFence is a security plugin. It's a great little plugin. You can integrate that with main WP and push out all your favorite settings to all your sites, just like iThemes. There's a lot of settings in WordFence. This is a huge time saver. I'm sure you've heard of Yoast SEO. It's one of the most popular SEO plugins for WordPress. Same idea. A lot of settings. You can set those settings inside of main WP, push those out to all your child sites. Really simple. WP Compress, I don't know why Coupon is there. This isn't a coupon, but WP Compress is a plugin that compresses your pages and makes them load faster. So these are all the extensions, and also plugins and themes, just regular WordPress plugins and themes. You can install them or deactivate them in bulk. With a few clicks, you can add a new plugin to every single child site under your management, or you can just send it out to a subset of your sites. Same with themes. We're going to get into all that right now, starting with this tutorial. But first, we're going to get a domain name and a hosting account, because your main WP website should be on its own. It should not be tied to another website. You and your team are the only ones who should know where this main WP dashboard exists. You can have a sales page on your website selling people on your client services, but then the actual work in main WP, that's hidden away. And we'll get into why throughout this video, but first we have to get a domain name and a hosting account. So let's do that. If you're following along this video but you don't have a domain name or hosting account yet, just click the link in the description down below. It will take you to SiteGround, which is where I host all my websites, and it will take you to this page, or if it doesn't take you to this page, just go to hosting and then go to WordPress hosting, and then you get to this page. And this is where you buy hosting, and you can buy domain names here as well. A domain name is your web address. For example, siteground.com is the domain name of this hosting company. So your website needs a domain name as well, otherwise people cannot find it on the internet. And hosting is where all the files are stored. So you have a domain name where people find your website, but then the content of your website is stored on a hosting account. And that's the service that SiteGround provides. And you can also buy domain names here, and you can choose a hosting plan. Now these hosting plans are almost always on sale for the first purchase. I'll tell you what that means in just a minute. But this one, for example, is $3.95 a month, regular, $12 a month. And if you just have one website, you're just starting out, this is all you need. So $3.99 a month is very reasonable, and SiteGround is a great host with awesome features. And 10,000 monthly visitors is a long ways to go. So when you're starting out, it's going to take you a long time to get there. And if you do end up outgrowing this plan, it's really easy to upgrade. It's one-click upgrade in your back end, in your SiteGround account. Super simple. So for today, we're going to get the startup plan. We're going to type in the domain name that you found earlier. Hopefully you found one. I'm just going to call mine, Let's Build a New Website. I don't think this one's taken. I haven't double checked. But if you find a domain name on Domain Wheel up here, these are ones that have not been taken. So you can just copy and paste those right into here. Make sure you pick whether it's a .com or .net, .org or .directory, .estate or whatever it is. Make sure you pick that from this drop down here. And then it shows here domain registration is $16 per year. It's pretty average. Click on proceed. Now we come to this page, shows this domain name as available, so that's good. And now I'm just going to fill out this form with my email, my billing info, credit card number, and then we'll get into this after I fill out the form. So I'll be right back. I fill out the form above, including my billing info and address info. And now we pick our plan. We have startup, which we picked earlier. We can choose our data center if we want to. You should pick the one that's closest to you. I'm in Canada, so the USA data center is closest to me. If you live in a different part of the world, make sure you pick the one that's closest to you. That just makes it so that your website loads faster locally in your local area. And the period is how long you want to register for. And the trick here is this $3.95 a month is valid for your registration period. So if you order for 12 months, you get $3.95 a month for 12 months. After 12 months, it's $12. If you go for 36 months, you get the $3.95 for 3 years instead of 1 year. And after that, it's $11. So pick the one you want. Definitely don't pick 1 month because that's really expensive for 1 month. But if you're going to have a website long term, why not choose the longest term one and have the greatest discount for the hosting? It only makes sense. So now we have our hosting services picked out. Our domain registration here is $16. We can add in domain privacy. That means that your information will not be in what's called the Whois database. Any domain name that's purchased, whoever purchased it or the company that purchased it is visible through the Whois database. And if you buy this privacy protection, it's not visible. It'll look like SiteGround bought the domain and not you. So that is important if you want to have some more privacy. I usually don't check that. I also don't use the SG Site Scanner. It's helpful for detecting malware and things like that, but I use other tools for that, so I'm not going to choose that. But if you want to have the scanner to protect yourself from malware, feel free to add that in for $20 a year by checking this box. And now we have to confirm some things. The first one we have to confirm. The second one we don't have to. This is just special offers and emails they want to send you. You can say yes or no. It's up to you. Then we click on Pay Now. Now it's going to process, and we're going to receive some emails that are going to be very important. So we're going to log into my email account in just a minute to see those new emails from SiteGround. I believe there are 3 of them, and they're all quite important. I'll walk through each of them. So the account's been created. We can click on Proceed to Customer Area. And now I'm going to start a new website since that's what we're doing here today. I'm going to click on WordPress. I'm going to add my email address. I'm going to create a username. Let's say that. Here, so it's not long enough, so let's make it a little longer. Make my full name. The password, I'm going to use a password generator for that. And that one's only medium. Add an exclamation. There we go. Okay. Now we have a strong password. I recommend you have a strong username and a strong password just because that's good for your website security. Then I will click on Confirm. And here we can add domain privacy again if we want to for $12. SG Scanner again if we want to for $20. So if you didn't add them before, it's going to ask you again. You can choose those or not choose those. I'm going to not choose them. Click on Confirm. Going to check this box and then click on Complete Setup. Our hosting account is ready to use. So click on the big green button to proceed to the customer area. And now we have the home page. This is what you first see when you log into your SiteGround account. You can see your accounts under My Accounts. This is where we're going to see our domains. There's our new domain name right there. And believe it or not, WordPress is already installed. And this site is actually live. If we copy and paste this domain into a new tab, there's going to be something there. It does not look very nice right now because it's just a plain WordPress install. We're going to fix that in a few minutes. But we have a site live on the internet. Only took 10 minutes. So you can email your mom and let her know you've got a site online, which is awesome. And we're going to go to WP admin. So we have our website domain name followed by a / and then WP-admin. Hit enter, and it's going to take us to a login page. This is where we enter the username and password we created in the form just a minute ago. So my username was Bjorn Allpass. My password was this. Then I'm going to click on Login. Now we can go through the SiteGround setup wizard to create a WordPress site. We're not going to do that in this video. I'm going to click on Exit, and we're going to go into the dashboard for the WordPress site. Now we come to a custom dashboard. This looks a little bit different than most other WordPress dashboards you've probably seen in some tutorials. This is a SiteGround specific dashboard. You don't really use it for very much, so the way it's designed isn't really too important. Now we have to go back into a SiteGround area and take a look at those emails I told you about earlier. Here it says pending verification, and we do that through our email account. So I'm just going to log into my email. The verification email they sent us, we need to click on this link right here to verify our domain. So here we are, we're at the verification page. Just have to verify this information is correct, and we click on Verify Information. And yay, we're verified. Now if we come back here and refresh, this may take a minute to update, or a few minutes. It's not updated yet, but we are verified. So that's good. We can close this tab, and we can close this email because we've done that. This email is important information about your new hosting account. Login buttons, set up your website, complete your domain verification. We did that just now. This is information to read through if you want to read through it. It's not really that important. You bookmark the user area, remember your password, and that's really all there is to it. And this email is your sales receipt, has all the important info about your purchase, so keep that in a safe place. Now that we've gone through all the emails, we've verified our domain name and our information, we're now ready to build out that website that I showed you at the very beginning of this tutorial. Before we carry on, you'll notice the domain name is different than the one we just bought through SiteGround. That's because I can't buy a new SiteGround account and a new domain for every single video I make. That said, let's carry on. Now we're going to clean up the WordPress backend a little bit. We're going to get rid of the demo content so we have a clean site. This is optional. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to show you how to do it. If you want to skip ahead use the table of contents down below and click on the timestamp for a later part of the video if you want to skip this part. So I'm going to go to posts first. I'm going to delete my post. Click on trash. Post gone. This trash in here, this will be deleted in 30 days. So you can just leave it here, it'll be auto-deleted, or you can click on the trash link and click on empty trash. Now it's gone right now. Under pages, we can trash the sample page. We can trash the privacy policy as well, because this is not going to be a public-facing website. This is a client management site. Just a portal for you and your team, for nobody else. So it's going to be totally secret. I'm going to show you how to make it so there's no front end of the website. People can't get to the login page. And if you don't tell anybody what the domain name is, nobody will know. And so there's no privacy policy needed. You should have a privacy policy on the website where you're selling your services, just not on your dashboard website. So I'm going to trash that. Head into trash here, click on empty trash. Sometimes there are comments. Usually they're linked to the first Hello World post that we deleted. And I believe that auto deletes the comments as well if we delete the post. Under plugins, we have no plugins at this time. You may have Akismet and Hello Dolly installed. You can delete those two. I'll just show you how to delete that really quick. Let's install Hello Dolly. It comes pre-installed in every single WordPress site. Here it is installed now. To delete it, just click on deactivate and then click on delete. And then click OK. Now it's gone. Under themes, we don't need any kind of special theme. You can put whatever you want in here. I'm going to delete 2016 theme. So that's 2017. Delete 2016. So we just have 2019, and that's all. It doesn't matter what theme it is because we're not going to use the theme at all. So you can put anything you want in here, really. There's a couple things that we can do, not super important. You can change the title of the website, but again, I'm going to show you how to hide it, so you don't really need it. Tagline doesn't matter. Make sure anyone can register is not checked. You definitely don't want that. You can set a time zone. This is important because some of the functions you do will show a timestamp, and it depends on what time zone you pick. I'm going to choose Vancouver because that's in my time zone. Keep my date format as this, and my time format as this, and my week starts on Monday. Click on Save Changes. One important thing I glossed over, the email address. This is the email that notifications from the site are sent to. So if anything happens on the site, if MainWP wants to notify you of something, the email will be sent here. So make sure this is a real email address and make sure somebody's looking at this email address because you might receive important emails from the dashboard. So make sure you have a legit email address there. And now we've done the basic cleanup of the WordPress site. Again, this is optional for a client maintenance site, but you don't need this stuff in there for a client maintenance site either, so you might as well get rid of it. So the next thing we have to do is install the MainWP dashboard plugin. Head out to this URL right here. It's linked to in the description down below. There's also a link to the resources page on my website that will take you here. And this is just my website /go/MainWP001. Go to this page, and this will take you right to here where you can download the MainWP dashboard plugin for free. Just click on download. Just enter your email address. You'll be notified of all kinds of things, including sales. There is a pro version of MainWP that I picked up on Black Friday a number of years ago at a super crazy discount. So if you do like this plugin, make sure you wait for a day when there's a deal because they happen quite regularly. Click on subscribe and download, and the plugin automatically downloads after that. There it is on our hard drive. This is all we need from this page. Go back to our website, go to plugins, add new, upload a plugin, choose a file, choose MainWP 4.0.3, click on open, click on install now. And within a few moments, click on activate plugin, even faster than I was gonna even say it. There's a quick wizard to walk through and set the plugin up on your site. We're gonna go through that right now. I recommend you do it as well because then you have your site pretty much set up and ready to go. If you wanna come back to it later, you can find it under MainWP settings, MainWP tools. You'll find the wizard button. So you can start it up again if you want to later on. We're gonna do it right now. Click on Let's Go. This page asks what type of server we're currently on, a web host or a local host. A web host being something like SiteGround and a local host being on your computer. So pick the appropriate one from this list, then click on Continue. Now we have a systems check. If any of these show up as red, MainWP may malfunction. A lot of these, like the PHP version, might be set to a lower number on your hosting account, but you can actually set it higher if you need to. If you need help with that, contact your host support. They'll be able to help you upgrade your PHP version and turn this into a green check mark instead of a red X if it appears as a red X. For the other options, you can usually get help from your host support team as well, so make sure you do that if you run into problems here. Click on continue if they're all green. How many child sites are you planning to manage? In my case, less than 50. Choose the one that's appropriate for you. Click on continue. On this page, we decide if we want to allow trusted updates for the main WP child plugin. That means this plugin will be updated automatically on all child sites whenever there's an update available. I keep this as on because this is their business and they make sure there's no problems with their child plugin, so I always have this one as on. This is the only plugin I've set as a trusted update. All other plugins require manual work to get them to update, which just involves clicking a few buttons, and they're updated across all child sites if you want them to. So it's not hard, but I don't like to have them all auto-updated because I don't know if I can trust everybody who's making these plugins. So this is the only one I trust because this is their business, and I usually have this as on. Click on continue. Do you want to receive important notifications for your main WP dashboard? Yes or no, you choose. I would put this as yes. And this is the email address that we saw earlier as the site email address. You can also add another one by clicking this button right here, add another one, and off you go. And like it says here, these are not emails from the main WP team. This does not sign you up for any mailing lists. This is just from your website when important things happen. So I almost always have this as on. Continue. Are you planning on using main WP for backups? Yes, we are, because we can have scheduled automatic backups of our child sites, which is awesome. When we choose our backup plugin from the drop-down here, I'm going to choose Updraft Plus because that's my favorite backup plugin for WordPress. You can choose Backup WordPress or Back WP Up. All three are free. We do have to go through the site and download them and get an API key, but they are free to use. I click on Updraft Plus, and I'm going to register for a main WP account. Click on this button here, opens a new tab. This is the registration page here. All you do is enter a username, an email address, and a password. I'm not going to click on register because I already have multiple accounts with main WP, but after you click register, you get your account, and then you can proceed as I will right after I log into my own account. So I'm just going to log in here. So when you're logged in, this is what your account looks like. Got a bunch of links over here. You don't have to worry about those right now. What we do have to worry about is putting our username and password that we just created, that we just registered and verified, enter those into here, username and password. I've entered mine, but after I click on continue, we'll see if they've fixed that. Let's click on continue. It's installing the extension. Please wait, and it installed successfully. Awesome. That's a lot easier than going and downloading the plugin from their site. Puts it right in for us. Click on continue. Here it says the main WP relies on wp-cron.php file to trigger scheduled events. Scheduling backups is a scheduled event. It does not start, a scheduled backup does not start if the wp-cron.php file is not triggered. To trigger the file, you have to have a visitor to your site. If your site has no traffic, if it's hidden away somewhere where nobody can find it like it should be, it's not getting any traffic. So this will never be triggered. And so your scheduled backups will always fail. You have to come in and do them manually. And the way around this is to install Uptime Robot. It's a free service with a free extension in main WP, and it pings your site every 5 minutes, meaning it just sends a packet of information to your site. It looks like a visit to the website, and so it runs the cron file, which then triggers your scheduled backups. And it runs every 5 minutes, so it makes sure that all your scheduled tasks are being triggered and are running. So I'm going to click on here to authorize, and I believe that you should too. We have this new pop-up right here. If you don't have an account, click on here to sign up for free. And all you have to do to sign up for free is enter your name, first name, last name, email address, password, repeat password, click on sign up. That's it, and you're done. I already have an account, so let's enter my details right here and click on authenticate. Should just take a few seconds to do that. And there we have true. Looks like it worked. I'm just going to copy this just in case I need this information. Don't think I will. Click on the X, click on continue, and we should have the wp-cron authorized now. We're going to click on not start by connecting your first WordPress site. We're going to quit back to the main dashboard by clicking on this link right here. So this is the main WP dashboard. You can change what appears on the dashboard by going to the gear icon, and you can choose to hide or display widgets, depending on which ones you want. You probably don't know what any of these mean right now, but you'll quickly learn once you use main WP for a while. So you can turn widgets on and off using that option or those options there. And once you have sites in here, you're going to see a whole lot of data about things that need updating, things that need to be done. If you're managing sites that your clients are using, you're going to see a whole bunch of activity logs, what your clients are doing in there, just to make sure they're not doing anything silly that might break their site. Or if it looks like somebody's doing something they shouldn't be, you can notify that person. Anyhow, that's all the data you see here. And the main WP dashboard has a whole lot of options down the left side here. We'll get into those throughout this tutorial, just not right now. Where the rubber really hits the road is when we add a new site. So click on New Site right here, and we can go through adding a new site. And the site we're going to add today is wpspeedify.com. It's a project I've been working on. It's basically a tutorial series that helps you speed up your WordPress site. And it's coming to this channel right here, so make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss those speed up tutorials when they become available. The administrator username for that website is required, so just enter it in here. And then for the optional settings, we have the ability to add a unique security ID, which is good for security. So we're going to do that in just a minute. Next, groups. This allows you to organize your sites in your main WP dashboard if you have a whole bunch of them. So you might have, I don't even know, sporting websites, financial websites. Maybe that's how you want to group them. Maybe you want to group them by size of the website or by how many users they have on them. Who knows how you want to group them, but you can create a group and put appropriate sites in the appropriate groups to keep things more organized in your main WP backend. We can automatically install Updraft Plus and any other plugin that we have set up in our main WP dashboard. Currently, this is the only one. If we had a whole bunch set up in here, we'd see a whole list here, but right now there's just one. So we check that one, and we can also have it auto set all the settings that we've created for Updraft Plus. Every plugin you install as a person managing sites, you have a set of settings that you prefer. You put those into main WP, and whenever you install plugins onto other websites, those settings can be automatically applied. And that'll save you a whole bunch of time. Imagine if you had 10 plugins and you had all the settings preset for all of them and install them all on a new client site. It's a huge time saver. Going to verify our SSL because we have an SSL for this site. Going to auto detect it. HTTP username and password is not required. Those are if you visit a website and you have to add or enter a username and password before you can even see the website, before it even loads. That's what the HTTP username and password is. I'm going to keep Force IPv4 unselected. And now we're going to install, before we click on Test Connection or Add Site, I'm going to install the child plugin, the main WP child plugin on this website. So let's navigate to WP Speedify. Let's head into the dashboard. Let's go to Plugins and Add New. Let's look for main WP child. The one we want is this one right here. Click on Install Now and then Activate. And now it says here in big red letters, attention, turn this plugin off unless you're connecting it to your main WP dashboard right now. Because if somebody else, by some miracle, knows what you're doing, they could connect this to their main WP dashboard before you can. The likelihood of that happening is super, super slim, but they give this warning anyway just to cover their butts, probably. So let's go to Settings, go to main WP child, and here's our unique security ID. Let's copy this. Let's go back into our site settings under unique security ID, paste that in, and as the name implies, this is unique to that website. Let's click on Test Connection. Connection has been successful, which is awesome. Click on Close, then click on Add Site. Site successfully added. Boom, done. Now if we go to the overview page, might be a little early for that. First, let's go to Manage Sites. This is where a list of all your sites will be. It's not too early. I was going to say it'll be too early to go to overview page to see data, as in what plugins are outdated and things like that, but we already have it showing up here. So this would be, so under Manage Sites, we see a row by row itemized list of all your websites and the stuff they have going on. So right now, we just have one site. It has 9 updates. The WordPress core, no update for that. Plugins, there's 8 to be updated. Themes, which is the little paintbrush, 1 to be updated. Last synchronized, just now. Last backed up, never. PHP version, last post, all that good stuff right there. If you click on this link, it takes you into that website's admin dashboard. This is why when I said earlier, you want to make sure you hide your main WP dashboard so nobody can find it ever. This is why. If they can hack into this main WP dashboard for any reason, they can click on this link on any of your child sites and log directly into those sites as well. So it's super important to keep this locked down. If you feel these rows have too much information, you can just click on the gear icon, check these boxes to hide the ones you don't want to see, and those will disappear from this listing. If we go to overview, it shows an aggregate of all the sites. So if we had 5,000 updates to do, this would say 5,000 updates. The power of a client management system like this, if there are 5,000 updates, you can click on update everything and it updates everything just like that. In fact, I'm going to click it right now, update everything. And this is just confirming that you want to do that. Here it says we get update confirmations, which you can turn off on the settings page. I'm going to click on yes, and it's going to go out and update all these things. And like I said, it's 8 or 9 in this case, or 5,000. It's the same, just takes a little longer if it's 5,000, but you can update everything across the board super simply. And since you have backups in place, if something goes wrong after an update, which is pretty rare these days, but if something does go wrong, you can just revert back to a backup. Now we've updated everything. If we go back into the actual site, let's go to plugins, and they're now all updated. They were not updated a few moments ago. So we did that just now by clicking on one button, which is pretty awesome, I think. Next, let's make sure those backups I just mentioned are actually in place. Let's head over to Sites, and then click on the site name to open that site's overview dashboard. This overview looks very similar to the main overview, only this is site specific. It's only for this site, whereas the main overview up here, that is an aggregate of all the sites under your management. And we want to click on Updraft Plus Backups. If you have a different backup plugin installed, you'll want to click on the tab for whatever backup plugin you have installed. In our case, it's Updraft Plus. And this tab is where we see all the backup information for our website currently. And we see our next scheduled backups. There is nothing currently scheduled. We want to have them scheduled because that takes that weight off of our shoulders. And if we have lots of sites, it's really important to have them scheduled. If you don't want them scheduled, you just want to do manual backups, all you have to do is click on Backup Now. And it'll make a backup right now of the whole site, the site files, the database, and everything you need to restore back to that version in case something goes wrong. To restore, you just click on Restore Now. So let's set up a backup schedule for this site. Head into Settings, scroll down to where it shows Backup Contents and Schedule. Instead of Manual, we want to choose Daily, or you choose whatever time frame you want, really. The number of times you back up depends on, I think, how much content you publish. So if you publish every 4 hours, you probably want to back up every 4 hours because you don't want to lose any content because something could go wrong any second. So you always want to make sure that you have a very recent backup with as much of your content as possible. If you publish only once a week, then backing up weekly would be just fine. A lot of sites publish daily. I'm just going to choose daily for my backups. I'm going to retain 7 copies, 7 backups, which means it's going to back up today and keep 7 days prior of backups. So that means 2 weeks from now, when 14 days have gone by, we'll still only have 7 backups. The previous 7 or the oldest 7 will be deleted and the newest 7 will be kept. So you can keep as many of these as you want. It really depends on how much storage space you have. And your storage space, as you'll see down below, can be pretty much unlimited. For the database backup schedule, I'm going to choose the same schedule. And down here, we pick our storage options. So when I said it's almost unlimited, if you have Dropbox or Microsoft Azure or S3 or Google Drive, you can have huge amounts of space. On all of these, you can have massive amounts of space. So it's pretty much unlimited. I'm going to click on Google Drive because that's what I have. And it says here to complete setup, all cloud storage apps need to be authenticated directly on child sites. So we'll do that in just a minute. Here we choose what to include in the backup. This is probably fine as it is, just as the default settings. If you turn this on, you get an email when the backup is complete. I usually don't do that. Expert settings you don't need right now. Click on Save Changes and check this option right here. This will override the general settings for this plugin. And now go back down to the bottom and Save Changes. There we go. Now if we go back into our child site here and we go to Settings and Updraft Plus Backups, we have our schedule now, as we can see here. Even if we go back to our dashboard here, let's see our status. We have a schedule here now. So that's awesome. Now we just need to authenticate the third-party storage that we're using. If you scroll down here, we have our Google Drive options. Updraft Plus is the name of the folder where the backups are going to go. This folder name cannot be changed with the free version of Updraft Plus. If you have the premium version, you can change the folder name. For me, it's not a big deal. So I just have the free version. I don't care if that's what the folder is called. It's fine by me. One of the big benefits of the Updraft Premium plugin is if you update the core files for WordPress or themes or any plugins, it will automatically make a backup for you of your site before it does the update. In the case something goes wrong with the update, you can just revert back to the version that you had before you updated. Super awesome. We want to authenticate. Here is the Authenticate with Google area right here. Click on this link. Takes us to Google sign into the Google account that has your Google Drive, and then click on Allow. And then it says to complete the setup for Google Drive, press the button below. So click on this button, and we are authenticated. Go back into Settings. Here it shows we're authenticated. And all the other settings down below here, these are all the same as we saw inside of our dashboard for main WP. Look a little different, but they're all still the same. And I noticed as well, a backup occurred while we're doing that stuff. So we have a, where is it? Backup apparently succeeded and is now complete. So if we go back into our dashboard, let's refresh this page. We have a last backup job run was today, just now. If we go to existing backups, we see it right here. If something went wrong with our site and we needed to restore to this backup, we can just click on Restore. And when you have 7 backups of history, you can restore any of those backups. Every one of them are going to have a Restore button, and then you can restore back to the previous 7 days. If you want to have a longer time period, change this number to something bigger. It's up to you what this number is. It can be 100 if you want. And then you'll have, after 100 days, you'll have 100 different backups sitting here, and you can restore to any of them. It's really just limited by how much storage space you have. So now I have our backup scheduled. Next thing I want to show you is a security scan. Here it checks our site for basic security issues, and it picked up these ones. These are all pretty basic things, and you can fix them all by clicking on the Fix button right here. Click on Fix. Boom, that one's fixed. Fix it, fix it, fix it. You can also unfix, just in case that broke something. Usually doesn't, but just in case it does. You always want to come back to your site and go to the front end and refresh and make sure everything is how it should be. You can also click on Fix All at the bottom. Here it shows we need to re-upload a readme.html file manually to unfix this, and that's fine. We'll just leave it as it is. I clicked on Fix by accident. So we'll just leave that fixed. And this is also in the overview page. If we go back to overview, we have a security issues section here, which would have shown those issues that we just saw, but this shows them for all your sites in your main WP. And you can click on Fix All and fix them all. One click. Super simple. We also have the ability to add specific extensions for security, like the Sucuri security scan or iThemes. iThemes is paid, Sucuri is free. As we saw earlier when I did the rundown of all the extensions, we can add them really easily. If we go to extensions, we can go on the right-hand side here, verify my login. So verify that login valid or login info is valid. Click on Install Extensions, and here it shows us all the extensions we can have. Currently we have Updraft Plus in our account, so we can install that one, which is already installed. The other ones we have to go and purchase, even though they're free. I know it's weird, doesn't make a lot of sense, but you have to purchase them even though they're free. So let's go to the site, I'll show you how that works. Let's go to our extensions on the main WP site, click on free. Let's pick a free one. Let's get Sucuri right here. Click on Buy Now. Here it shows our checkout, $0. Proceed to checkout. Got to fill out all the info. Check this box. Can we stay in touch? Check that one if you like. That one's optional. Place order. And now we have the Sucuri extension. So if we come back out here, verify my login again, go install extensions. Sucuri should be clickable on this list. Here it is. WP main Sucuri extension. Let's install it. Let's close it. Now we have it right here. Boom. License is currently deactivated. I'm not sure why, but if we click on Manage License, we can get our API key and license key, just paste them in here. To get those, in case you receive that error as well, go back into your main WP account, go to My API Keys, and all the extensions that you have purchased will be in here. If you have only free ones, it'll show all the free ones. If you have paid ones, it'll show them here as well. So let's copy the API key and paste that in here. and then copy the API email. Paste that in here as well and activate license. There we go, now it's activated. Let's do that for Updraft Plus as well. Copy the API key, paste it in, activate license. Here it shows we have to deactivate the plugin and reactivate it, that extension. So to do that, we click down here, go to WP admin. This is back to the WordPress admin, which looks probably pretty familiar to you. Looks very different than the main WP admin. Let's head into plugins. Let's deactivate Updraft Plus like it recommended, and then activate it again. Back into main WP, popped us right back in here. Manage license. Let's put the information back in here. Activate license. There we go, worked that time. So now those are both activated. You can add as many extensions as you want, and all these extensions can be installed on your client's sites. So if we head back to sites, click back in the WP Speedify. We have 2 updates available. Updates come hot and heavy with WordPress, so having these management plugins like MainWP is super handy if you have any number of sites under your management. So let's see if we go to security scan. That's that one. Here it is, security malware and security scanner. Got WP Speedify down here. Click on scan website, and this will connect with Sucuri, and it's going to scan this site. And we get a lot of green check marks, which is awesome. If you get red ones, not so awesome. And you can run these scans on a regular basis, every week, every month, whatever the schedule you want, as a value add service for your clients to show them you're looking out for them and making sure their sites are okay. So that's pretty awesome. Click on close. Let's go to plugins. Let's go to install. Here we have our WordPress repository. We can search it right here, just like we would any other WordPress repository, and then we can install plugins on sites. Right now we only have one site in this admin, this one right here, but we could check any number of sites that we have or check all sites and then click on install this plugin, and it will install this plugin on all those websites all at the same time. Super simple. Or if there's a plugin, for example, Yoast SEO has problems sometimes, and say we want to deactivate it for whatever reason. We go to manage plugins, we select our sites on the right, we select active for the status, and click on show plugins. This will show all the active plugins on this website. And this is them right here in a horizontal table. And you can choose, for example, if you have 20 sites and all of them or 5 of them have all-in-one WP migration, and you've migrated them, you don't need this plugin anymore. You can check this box. It will check all instances of the migration plugin. Go to bulk actions, go to deactivate, click on apply. Now it's removed from this list because we chose to show only the active plugins. Let's choose inactive as well, so it shows deactivated and activated plugins. And here we see it again. There's no difference on this table itself that shows us whether it's active or inactive, but you can see by choosing only active, it won't appear anymore. And you cannot delete plugins from here, but you can deactivate them. You can also have auto updates set. So if we show all plugins again, we see that main WP child is trusted, meaning it's going to get auto updates. If there's another plugin that you trust, that they're going to update correctly every single time, you can make them trusted. And that takes a little weight off your shoulders. You can ignore updates for plugins. We set that in the manage plugins area. You select a plugin, bulk action, choose ignore updates. When you do that, they'll be added to this list, and then you won't be notified when there's an update for that plugin. There's also ignore abandoned. So if there is a plugin that you need to use, but it has been abandoned, hasn't been updated in a long time, normally MainWP will give you a warning saying, hey, this plugin hasn't been updated in a while. It hasn't been tested with the current version of WordPress. You should probably do something about it. If you don't want those notifications for a specific plugin, it can be added to the ignored list, and then you don't have to get those updates anymore. A lot of the same options exist for themes. As we can see, it's the same tabs up here. We can install a theme. We can choose any one we want. We can upload a zip file directly from our hard drive. Same with the plugins. If there's a premium theme or premium plugin that you bought that you can't get in the WordPress repository, you click on upload zip file. For the theme, under plugins, same thing. Go to install, upload zip file. Then you can upload that file to all the sites. For example, my favorite WP Speedup plugin is WP Rocket. And you can install WP Rocket on all your sites using this simple method. And there's even an extension inside main WP called Rocket. Let's see if we can find it. Here it is, Rocket. It is a premium extension, so it's $49 a year for Rocket, and you can set up all the settings that you love for WP Rocket across all your sites with a few clicks. And if you want to know more about WP Rocket and why it's my favorite WordPress speedup plugin, there's a link in the tutorial up above where you can learn more about it. It's a great plugin. It is a premium only, but it's awesome. It's well worth it. Under users, you can manage users across all sites. Under posts, you can publish posts to websites. There's actually extensions as well. I encourage you to have a read through all these extensions because there's a lot of them and they are pretty powerful, a lot of them. So there's a post, let's see if we can find it. Post Dripper, Post Plus, maybe Post Plus is the one we want. Randomize authors, categories, and publishing dates. This would be for an auto poster plugin. Either way, you can publish posts. You can add a new post. Just like the WordPress post builder, the classic version, you see it right here. You can check off which sites you want this post to go to, featured images, everything you want to do here, and you can publish it out to 100, 1,000, or just one site at a time. Saves a lot of time doing that. Same for pages, same idea. You can publish it to one site, publish it to 10, publish it to a subset, to a group of sites, whatever you want. You can publish posts and pages to websites directly from your main WP dashboard. Under settings, we have a lot of settings for the main WP plugin. Let's have a quick read through these settings because they are important. Under optimization, we want to optimize for hosting or big networks. So if you have a shared hosting account, you want to make sure this is checked if you're on shared hosting. Here's notification email, enable WP cron, that's fine. Automatic daily sync time. You can set a daily sync time, say at 1 in the morning. Every day at 1 in the morning, all your sites will be synced. So when you get up in the morning, you log in your main WP, everything's up to date. Or maybe you want to set it to 5. Maybe you log into main WP at 6, so you want all the updates done at 5, and then it's the freshest data possible. Update, daily update frequency once per day. You can change the frequency if you want, choosing from there. Sidebar position, which is this menu area, is on the right by default. Have it on the left if you want. I like the right. Plugin settings, plugin automatic updates, install trusted updates. You can have that option here. If you don't want that option, disable it. Theme updates. You can have trusted options as well for the themes. Core updates. You can also automatically install all the core updates to WordPress as soon as they come out. And that can be dangerous, at least it was in the past, because core updates can cause problems, especially when all the bugs haven't been figured out yet. It's a fine balance because the majority of hacked sites are hacked due to vulnerabilities in plugins and core files and themes that have not been patched. When updates come out, they often include security patches, patching those vulnerabilities. But sometimes those updates break other functionality. So if you auto-update all the time, things can break. So you always want to make sure, you always want to have a close eye on your update process. So I rarely do trusted updates. Rarely. So even though these trusted updates are enabled, we only have it enabled for one plugin, which is the main WP child plugin. We don't have any themes trusted, don't have the core updates trusted, so we do all those manually. Show WordPress language updates, on or off. Update confirmations, so when the update is made, you get an email. Check site HTTP response after update. I turn this one on. What this does is after you make an update, or after the main WP makes an update, it will try to reach your site. And if it gets a 200 response, everything's okay. If it gets anything besides a 200, something went wrong. And then it'll notify you, then you go and check it out. Ignored HTTP responses, you can choose which ones to ignore. So for example, the 200, which is okay, you might want to ignore that one because if it's okay, you don't want to hear about it. You really want to hear about it when things go wrong. For example, 404, 403, 500, those are ones you do not want to ignore. The only one on this list I would ignore is okay. Because if it's okay, it's good. You don't need to know about it. Require backup before an update. Check this box here, and that will back things up before an update is made. This is similar to the premium version of Updraft Plus. Only here we get it in main WP for free. Awesome. Days without a full backup tolerance, 7. If you go more than 7 days, or whatever number you put in here, without a full backup to a site, main WP emails you. Abandoned plugins and themes tolerance, 365 days, 1 year. This is related to the option we saw earlier where you can ignore abandoned plugins. It waits for 1 year before it says this plugin's been abandoned. You should do something about it. You can change this number to whatever you want. The default settings are usually pretty good. Backup settings, you can enable the legacy backup feature. That's going out of style. They're going to be removing that, so don't turn that on. Primary backup system, MainWP Updraft Plus. That's all good. Save settings. Advanced options. In here, most of these you can just leave as default. This is pro level stuff. You don't have to worry about this stuff. Just keep that all as it is. MainWP tools. These are all the tools you can use to manage your sites. First one, force MainWP dashboard to establish a new connection. So this could be if you are troubleshooting some kind of problem with your child sites, you can reestablish connections to all child sites and see which ones have trouble connecting just with one click. This is where we start that quick wizard again that we had at the very beginning of this video. You can export your child sites to CSV. You can also import them if you want to. You can disconnect all child sites. This is mostly for troubleshooting as well. You can choose to hide the Update Everything button. This is on the overview page and various other pages where you can click one button and it updates everything on that site or on all your sites. And that can be dangerous. Usually I go site by site. It's up to you. But the reason there's an option is here is because there is some danger involved in updating everything. So I usually hide this button. We can change our columns from 2 to 3. We can hide unwanted widgets. This is similar to our under the gear icon that we saw at an earlier part of this video. You can click on it and choose which widgets to show and hide. User snap button. This is the bug tracker. So if you turn that on, you'll see up here in the top right a little bug button appears. Just save changes. Here's the bug icon. Use it to report bugs. You can turn that one off. Turn off the brag button. This turns off the Twitter message that we can post automatically with one click if we have updated our sites. There's a little message that appears at the top of the dashboard, which we can choose to tweet out if we want to. Enable client reports for WooCommerce. Turn that on if some of your clients have WooCommerce. And the client reports, of course, are reports that are sent out to your clients. And this is great. Click on Save Changes. This is great if you're charging money for what you do for clients. You can send out client reports. It's an extension in here. It's not a free one. Here's client report, $69 a year. And you can install this extension on your site, and on whatever schedule you decide, you can send out white labeled, customized reports to each of your clients automatically, showing all the things that you've done for them. Here's a list of what it will track, and every month or whatever schedule you want, they'll get this report and they'll know you've got their back. And they'll know that they're not doing all this work. Somebody else is, which is what they're paying you for. This is a very handy plugin to have. And it doesn't take long. At $69 a year, it doesn't take long to be able to pay that. Like, how much do you charge a month to manage someone's site? $5, $10 is probably pretty cheap. $20, if it's a business, that's not unreasonable. And that's $120 a year for just one client. So this pays for itself rather quickly. Let's go back into the dashboard. Let's check out the status menu option down here. And this shows a bunch of information about MainWP, the server information here. We have a warning for this one. See URL timeout. It's not critical, but it's a warning. I want to look into that. Here's another warning right here, memory limit. Cron schedules, error log, wp-config file. You're really only in here if you're troubleshooting a problem. So you don't spend too much time in here. Another thing we wanted to do was install the Clean and Lock extension, which hides our site. This makes it so our MainWP dashboard is very, very hard to find. It describes it right here. We can remove unwanted sections of our dashboard site, limit access to a WP admin, and even redirect non-WP admin pages to a different site, making your WP admin dashboard virtually invisible. So let's buy it now. It's free. Let's proceed to checkout. Let's place our order. Let's check this box first. Then let's place our order. And then we come back in here, go back to extensions, verify my login, install extensions, and it should be showing up on this list. Here it is, Clean and Lock. Install it, close it. Here it is. Got to manage the license again. So let's go into our account. API keys, Clean and Lock. Copy the API key. Put in your email address. This is the email address that's listed in this column of this table. Click on Activate License. Boom, done. we're clean and locked. To get to the settings for this plugin, click on Clean and Lock right here. Here, we can redirect to a different page. This will make it so when someone tries to visit your site, they'll be redirected to somewhere else, whatever you enter here. Here we can exclude a certain URL from redirection. This might be your login URL that you want to exclude, so you can log in. You can even have a plugin that changes your login URL. And so you would exclude that one, that custom URL for logging in, and nobody else in the world would know what that is besides you. I have a tutorial for that in the card up above or the description down below for changing your login URL. You can allow login from specific IPs. You can have just your IP in here, and that's the only IP that's allowed to log in. You can lock a WP admin to just one username and password. You can have the login lock for one username and password. You can remove the locks using this button here. You can hide certain areas of your dashboard as you see fit. You do that here. Just check these options, and that'll hide those from the WP side of the dashboard. Click on Save Settings. The WP side of the dashboard is right here. You can hide a lot of these options on the left. You don't spend too much time in the WP version of the dashboard, but it is here. And one really important thing I want to talk about before I wrap up this video, because we've done pretty much everything we want to do. We've installed main WP, we've got our backups in place, we've updated plugins, we've learned how to do that, we've learned how to install plugins, install themes on any number of sites, we've learned how to security scan them with Sucuri, we've got our uptime monitor pinging our site to make sure our cron jobs work. Everything's gravy. The last thing we want to do is make sure that our main WP is backed up. Because it's all great that you're backing up all these other sites, but what if this site right here goes down? We want to make sure we have backups in place for that. Let's go to plugins. We have our Updraft main WP extension here. We want to install Updraft Plus on this dashboard. So let's look at Updraft Plus. This one right here. Install that guy. Click on Activate. And now we have a backup plugin for the main WP site. Let's go into Settings, Updraft Plus Backups. Go to Settings again. We can set this up just like we did for the child sites, only now it's for our main site. Really important that you do that because you don't want to lose the main site that's managing all the other sites due to whatever reason. It could be a WordPress update that breaks it. Likely won't be hacked because nobody knows it's here, but it could be something else. Things break sometimes. Just make sure you have backups in place. Just rewind back to the part where I backed up the child site, where I set that up. That'll be the same process for setting it up here. And that's everything. Go back into our main WP dashboard. And this is now, if you've installed this and you're running your child sites through here, this is your main dashboard. You'll probably be in here every day, making sure everything's running. And you can make a really good living helping your customers manage their sites, manage their sites for them, taking care of all the admin stuff, because there is a lot. Just to record in this video, we updated our site. We updated everything on there. Now we have 2 more plugin updates just in the past couple hours. So this stuff is always being updated, and clients don't want to deal with that. And you can help them. You can solve that problem for them by having this dashboard installed and helping them maintain their sites. And with that, in closing, let's go to Main WP Pro. It's only $29 a month. You don't need a lot of clients to pay for that. Even better, one-time fee. This is the one I have for $400, and I picked mine up on a Black Friday, so I think it was $100 off. It was only $299 for a lifetime. Maybe it was even $199. I don't even remember. It was a lot of years ago. But either way, a one-time fee, and on a Black Friday or a yearly sale, the sales come around all the time. You can get it on a discount, and it pays for itself in very, very little time and very little effort. Because anytime you build a website, once you're done the website, you offer the maintenance package. And you make it inexpensive, $20, $40, $50, depending on what your client wants done, depending on what you offer. That's how you'd figure out what price you want to charge them. It doesn't take long to pay this off. It really, really doesn't. So if you're interested in Main WP, make sure you check this out. I use it myself. I use a lot of clients. I don't use Managed WP, which is another option. It's a very popular one. GoDaddy bought it a number of years ago. One of the reasons I don't use it is because GoDaddy bought it. The other reason is the amount you pay goes up the more sites you have. So when you have a lot of sites on there, of course, they have a lot more work to do on their server when you have a lot of sites on there, but it keeps going up and up and up and up. Whereas this, one-time fee, baby, that's another reason I like Main WP better than Managed WP, and they do pretty much all the same things. And so you pick one or the other, and this one ends up being cheaper because it does not increase based on how many clients you have. Even this $29 or $30, it stays that for 1 client, 10 clients, 1,000 clients. It doesn't matter. It's unlimited sites. Managed WP, the price goes up the more sites you add. So bottom line is pick one of the two, start managing clients and start earning another revenue stream for yourself. I choose Main WP. So that's how it works. I hope this video helps you. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure to click subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below this video. The next step is watching this video right up here, which will help you speed optimize your website using WP Rocket, which is my own favorite website optimization plugin. And then this one down here, which shows you the 11 reasons hackers like to hack websites, even if you don't have any traffic. So check out those two videos. My name is Bjorn Allpass from WP Learning Lab. Until next time, keep crushing it, and I will see you in the next video.